Hello, Facebook friends. Hello, revolutionaries, citizens of America and the planet. Welcome to today's Fireside Chat. Coming to you today from San Diego, California, from our road trip, and I apologize for the delays getting started today. We were driving in and we had the delays on the road, but it has been a really incredible and wonderful trip. We've been visiting colleges down the coast, down the left coast of California, and the colleges are rising up strong and green and burning green, and it is just so exciting to see what a powerful time this is, that people are standing up for an America and a world that we deserve. At the same time that the colleges are on fire, we're also seeing real resistance to the predatory policies that Donald Trump is carrying forward right now. And today there's been some really amazing breakthroughs. So let me ask you to like this and share it, and let's get the good word out that we are rising up green, that we are the ones we've been waiting for, and we are not holding back. We are out there fighting for women, immigrants, workers, for the LGBTQ community, for the communities of color and the indigenous people. We are rising up together. And I've just come right now from Riverside City College, where it was so wonderful to be welcomed by the student body, by the faculty, by the administration, a college that is just really excited that there is a politics for everyday people. They're not endorsing us Greens, but they're there to say that, yes, we have a legitimate voice in this process, and they welcome us as a political voice for young people, for the generation that has been essentially locked into predatory student loan debt. So it's just so great to see the power at Riverside. So I'm giving you guys a big shout out. I hope you're here watching and standing up. They have a Green Party campus chapter, as they do in most of the schools that we stopped at. We started at Humboldt State University up in Arcata, where we had a fabulous event. We had to turn away about 500 people. Next time we'll get a bigger auditorium. But in Humboldt, students are standing up, particularly on the climate, on indigenous rights, on student debt. And very exciting to see the Green Party taking root and growing, because we need a political voice if we're going to do the fight back. From there, we were in Davis, UC Davis and Berkeley, and let me get my little list here because we've covered so many of them. Then we were at Bakersfield for the biggest Green Party gathering that we have had in the state of California. Largely new people, young people of color, Latinos. This is what democracy looks like, and it's great to see the party green and growing. I stopped to support Kenneth Mejia and to do an event with him, which was just, totally powered up and exciting. I urge people again, go to Mejia for Congress.com and check out this amazing young dynamo, what the Green Party looks like going forward, a burner who continued to fight the system and didn't go back inside of it. And is leading the charge now in a special election that he can win. So help him out. Join his campaign at Mejia for Congress. That's the number 4, Congress.com, and toss something into the hat and help him phone bank. If you're in LA, get out and door knock. Otherwise, lend a hand just in joining the phone banking. I joined Luis Rodriguez together with his amazing family to have a discussion about the social movements that are moving forward in California and their incredible bookstore, which serves as a place for community culture and organizing and healing and feminism and support for workers and immigrants. Just, what communities are all about is what Luis and his family are all about. Much love to Luis and his family. We were then in Santa Barbara, in Irvine, just now in Riverside, and now we'll be at UC San Diego tonight. And it is just so exciting to see immigrants, students, young people who are leading the charge, creating an America and a world that works for all of us. At the same time that we're seeing young people stand up and lead the charge on our campuses, we're also seeing resistance out there in the real world. So I don't know if you've heard the news, but the Trump Muslim ban was just stopped for a second time. The federal court in Hawaii just ruled it again. They stopped it, and exactly what the technical ruling is, I'm not sure just yet, but they've basically put a halt to this end run around the legal decision just a couple weeks ago saying it's not okay to ban people of a certain religion. And they made a few tweaks. They took Iraq off the group of banned countries. They also allowed green card holders and visa holders to continue to arrive, but in large part, it is still the ban on Muslims that Donald Trump had promised during his campaign. So on that basis, it's been stopped again. So congratulations to everyone who's been standing up for human rights, for immigrant rights, and for a country that really represents our human values and that respects the immigrants who are really at the backbone of our economies, our communities, and our culture. So good work, resistance. We're getting somewhere. We're also getting somewhere. Let me just mention another piece of good news. I just read that the legislature in the state of Utah just passed ranked choice voting. So big shout out to the Utah legislature. I think it's predominantly Republican, if I'm not mistaken. And kudos to the Republican legislature. It's really cool. This makes this the first ranked choice voting statewide to be passed by a sitting government body, because usually the status quo has been fighting it. It's been taking we as the people to run voter referendums in order to implement this, to pass a voting system that lets us vote our values and gets rid of the politics of fear. It's just outrageous to think that any political party relies on fear that extorts our vote, that intimidates us into voting for them because they rely on a lesser evil to make them look good. And in fact, the Democrats have vetoed ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting lets you rank your choices, so if your first choice is loses, your vote is automatically reassigned to your second choice. So kudos to the state of Utah. This now makes Utah and Maine, the state of Maine, that have implemented ranked choice voting to let our values lead the way in our democracy. If people are going to the polls and they're just asking the question, who do I hate the most? Who do I most distrust? What does that do for democracy? Not a whole lot. The politics of fear has delivered everything we were afraid of. All the reasons we were told to vote for the lesser evil, we've gotten, by the droves. The bailouts for Wall Street, the offshoring of our jobs, the expanding endless wars, the attack on immigrants and on the press, the meltdown of the climate. We've gotten that on steroids by allowing ourselves, the public, we the people, to be silenced by a lesser evil or by a greater evil. We deserve to lead the way in a democracy with our values, and that's what ranked choice voting does. So congratulations to everyone who's working on that, and I encourage you to push it forward in your state as well, so that there are no spoilers. We need more voices and more choices in our elections, not fewer. That is what tyranny does. That is what tyrannical governments do, is intimidate us and to silence political diversity. We need political diversities. We shouldn't just have two state-sanctioned parties. That's the that's the kind of tyranny that we abhor in other countries. So let's not mimic that by trying to silence the voices of opposition parties. Democracy depends on opposition. The parties of abolition, who stood up against the evil institution of slavery, they too were called spoiler parties because they were spoiling an unjust and tyrannical authoritarian system. So we can be proud of standing up for democracy. We are not spoiler parties. We are healer parties standing up for our democracy. And let me say a quick word also about Trump Care. That has been specifically proposed in the legislature, in Congress now. Trump Care has just had the Congressional Budget Office release a report, and lo and behold, it's not really health care, it's essentially wealth care, because it's going to make health care more expensive, prohibitively expensive. It will result essentially in millions of people losing their health care. Even though there are millions who don't have it right now, there will be about 24 million additional people who lose health care under Trump Care, wealth care. And this is another wake-up call to so many working people who put their faith in Donald Trump and thought he was in fact going to be an assistance to the forgotten men and women of America. So I send my sincere condolences to those who are having a really rude awakening now to see that, in fact, this is not not the bill of goods that you were sold, because it is the wealthy who will get incredible tax breaks at something like $300 billion, more than $300 billion worth of tax breaks that are built into Trump Care, at the same time that the premiums are going to be going up, especially for older and sicker people. Premiums are going to go way up. The choice here should not be between the Obama healthcare mandate, which is unjust and unconscionable and unaffordable. That should not be the choice against wealth care for a healthcare system. Both of these are unacceptable and unconscionable. We need Medicare for all, improved Medicare for all that provides healthcare for everyone as a human right. Doesn't cost us any more. It just cuts out the profiteering, the exorbitant CEO salaries, and allows us to apply those dollars to be sure that we are covered, including our pharmaceutical care, our reproductive health care, our psychological and mental health care, your eyeglasses, your dental care, your hearing aid. All of that is covered under Medicare for all, a single-payer system. That's what we deserve. And again, let me encourage you to please like this conversation, to share it, and let's get the word out that we are standing up, and in fact that it is our young people who are leading the way forward on our campuses. This is Rising Up Green. Our campuses are burning green. It's just so exciting to see the transformation that our younger generation is leading the charge on. So more power to you. So Michael Cobb says, and I'm taking your questions now and your comments. So please go ahead and comment. Send us your thoughts and your observations. Michael Cobb says, "Hi, Jill. How do you like the weather here?" You can see what's going on behind me, the incredibly beautiful sunshine and blue skies here in San Diego. It's been just gorgeous, a really beautiful road trip here through California. So you guys are totally lucky to be living in this magnificent weather. Thank you, Michael. Michelangelo Tico says, are you having a town hall in San Diego tonight? Yes, indeed we are. And the address for that will be posted on this Facebook page. So please join us if you are in San Diego. And this will be sponsored by the San Diego Green Party. And I'm going to let Mel, and I give a big shout out to Mel Figueroa, who's doing the backroom work here on this broadcast. Mel will post for us exactly where that will be taking place. Christopher Daniel Verastegui said, I was just at RCC to see you. Wish I could have gotten a photo. Yeah, it's been really busy, and these events have been just jam-packed. So we're trying to do group selfies at least, and come tonight if you can, and we'll try to do individual selfies as well if we can. And that was at Riverside this afternoon that we didn't have time to do selfies, and I really apologize. Riverside was so incredible. You guys totally rock. Anthony J. Corey says, we are the change we've been waiting for. You indeed are. Eugene Brooks, wish you could come to Oklahoma. Need your presence here. Your insight, your influence would be a welcome relief here. Come to the only HBCU, that is historically black college and university in the state of Oklahoma. Langston University would be awesome. Oh, it would be such an honor to join you there. Let's see if we can do it, because my job as the recent candidate for president of the Green Party is to help grow that Green Party. This is why we run at the national level. We may have been just one debate away from a victory because the American people were, chomping at the bit for a different way forward. Who knows how it could have been, how it could have turned out. But we were also running in order to empower the grassroots, to empower more Green Party chapters and locals, and especially candidates, so that we can stand up and take power at the local community level. So I would love to help get things going in Oklahoma. Let's be in touch about that, Eugene. You can contact me through press@jill2016.com, and let's see if we can't make something happen. And Kimberly Bain says, come to Utah, Jill, greenpartyutah.com. And yes, you guys in Utah are totally rocking. Utah has a brand new Green Party, which is going to be hosting its first in a long time Green Party annual chapter meeting. And that's taking place in June, if I'm not mistaken. And I am indeed looking to arrange my schedule, if I possibly can, to come and join you. Umbra Trasido says, just like the state-by-state adding of the Green Party, step by step, folks. Well said, Umbra. Monica Olson says, hello again, Monica from Oregon. Just literally wanted to say hello and get to Oregon ASAP. Thank you. I would love to be there. You guys are doing great work. Alexandria Louise Walden says, how can I send a letter to Jill Stein that she herself will read? I got a lot of letters coming my way, but I do make an effort to read them. Best thing actually is to post it on Facebook and send it on Twitter. And as well, if you send it to press@jill2016.com, odds are it will get to me, and we'll try to do that. The other thing is to work through your local Green Party, because I'm in touch with the Green Parties to try to help them. So if you are connected to your local Green Party, they can help get word to me. And someone whose name I believe is in Arabic, I'm not sure, but it is not written in the letters of the English language or the European languages, says, do you have an ambition to make alliances with green political parties outside of the USA, like European countries? Well, actually, the Green Party is allied with I think it's over 100 countries around the world now that have green parties. So it's a lot of us that are working together, because so many of the issues we face are not unique to our own countries. The issue of corporate globalization, the oppression of workers, the oppression of indigenous people, the war on black and brown people around the world, on Muslims, on Latinos, the disadvantages that are being foisted on communities of color. These are crises here in the United States and crises around the world. And we need to build an America and a world that works for all of us. So this is about joining forces across borders and across issues, so that we are not divided and conquered, and we are standing up for we the people. Max Brooks says, thank you for still being out there on the ground, Dr. Stein. Love to see you still so dedicated to the cause. Also, woot! Shout out for ranked choice voting. Thank you so much, Max. And again, if everyone can like this and share this, we can help get that word out. Martin DePorres says, Jill Stein, you make me want to be a better American. Thank you, Martin. We're all on the same team here, bringing out the best in all of us, which is what we need to do. We can go down to the dark side, and we can we can fan the flames of fear, intimidation, and violence. That is definitely not what we're about. That's not what most people are about. And it's actually economic desperation that makes people indulge in this immigrant bashing and Muslim bashing and anti-Latino sentiment and racism. It brings out the worst in us when people are struggling to keep their heads above water, and a demagogue comes along who wants to blame other victims. The one to blame here is Wall Street, and even Donald Trump gave voice to that during his campaign, but now he's kind of done a 180, and his cabinet is nothing but Wall Street billionaires and blowhards. And we're seeing that in his policies, right and left, including his healthcare policies. So this is the time to tune in and wake up and take back our democracy with the best in all of us. Janet Russell says, wishing the Green Party in the U.S. all the very best of good wishes. Keep growing it. Speak up for green politics. Speak up for your great leaders like Jill Stein here. Oh, thank you very much. You're too kind. But speak up for yourselves. That is the bottom line. Speak up for yourselves. Every single person needs to take this movement forward. Speaking from Yorkshire in England, co-chair of a local Green Party, solidarity with Greens worldwide. Congratulations on the second ban on Trump's ridiculous immigration ban. I hope you can fight fracking as we are having to do here. Yes, indeed, we are doing that, and we need to do that in California. We need to ban fracking here like we did in New York State. And going on here, it's a big issue in Yorkshire and Lancashire, north of England. Although temporarily banned in Scotland, where I come from. Go Scotland. Scotland's doing great stuff. Green Party in Scotland rocks. Congratulations to Utah and Maine for ranked choice voting, which we call proportional representation. Yes, these are very similar. They're essentially the same thing, which we are campaigning for. Great to hear you, Jill Stein. Thank you, Janet Russell. And a big shout out also to Caroline Lucas, who is the elected Green in Parliament in the United Kingdom, and is also leading the charge for green policies, very much as a member of Parliament, really blazing the trail. Ruben Navarez says, are there any green candidates in Central Florida? So right now we are off of a candidate cycle. We have 2 candidates who are running in special elections. Excuse me a moment. So, I am needing a drink of water. Hang on 1 second. Let me see if I can get that. Hey, Ruthie? Okay, team, so sorry about that. On the road, you know, we do without the amenities on the road, but a glass of water is coming. So we are off cycle, and we have 2 candidates running for special election in Los Angeles, and that's Kenneth Mejia. His website is it's Mejia, M-E-J-I-A, for Congress. Thank you so much, Eric. Mejia for Congress, and that's the number 4, Congress.com, running for Congress. And we have Sherry Honkala, Sherry, C-H-E-R-I, 197, Sherry197.com. Sherry's running for state representative. These are both breakthrough races. I urge you, please throw some spare change into the pot. Sherry's race is less than a week away, and this is the final countdown. If she can do the get out the vote, this is a winnable race. It would be such a heads up to the political establishment for us to break through. This is where the rubber hits the road, folks. So throw some change into that hat. Sherry197.com is the most emergent and critical need. But join both of those campaigns. Help them both out. Throw something in for Sherry now, and next week for Kenneth. And then when we get back on the cycle, we will have more candidates. Check out your website for your state Green Party to find out who's running near you, and consider running yourself. Eric Engelking says, what can we do to engage local government in environmental policy where the federal legislation now lacks? That is a really important point that we're going to have to take over, where the EPA is being fought against, marginalized, having their budget cut right out from under them by like 20-25%. Really horrific things are happening. The EPA is for all of us. This is for our water and our air. And we're sick from air and water pollution right now. Look at what's going on in Flint, and you can look at 200,000 people who die from air pollution in this country every year, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of sickness from fossil fuels. So we need to fix this, and we can fix this. Standing up when the EPA is being hit back, we need to stand up to stop fracking and to clean up our local energy sources. So at the state and local level for the time being. But Trump's days are numbered. It's looking increasingly that way. So keep the heat on, folks. Briseida Miranda says, thank you for being an inspiration and an influence. Now we all have to come together and make a difference. Absolutely. Caleb Loeb, what would it take to stop climate change at this point? It will take an emergency jobs program so we can fix 2 crises in one fell swoop. We can give everyone a job in an emergency Green New Deal that will end fossil fuels, not just stop new ones, but we need to transition so that everyone who's now working in the fossil fuel industry has a guaranteed job creating the new clean green energy that we could be having right now. So the solution is right there, to jumpstart the economy, to call a halt to climate change, and at the same time we make the wars for oil obsolete. And we get so much healthier that the savings in healthcare is enough to actually fund the cost of the green energy transition. So this is a win-win-win. We need to stand up and insist that it happens. That's what the Green Party is about. Mario Israel Vargas says, will the Green Party be working with brand new Congress and Justice Democrats? So I'll say we're interested in working with everyone who will disavow corporate campaign contributions and corporate political contributions, because there are a lot of people out there talking the talk, but we haven't seen the DNC and the Democratic Party walk the walk, and they keep saying they're going to, and they keep creating a new form, a new vehicle, but they keep dropping the ball. And whether that was the betrayal of Bernie Sanders and his sabotage, which they also did to Dennis Kucinich, which they did to Jesse Jackson before him, or, if you had your hopes that things were going to change, look what just happened 2 weeks ago at the DNC elections, where the reform candidate Perez was shot down. Oh, I'm sorry, Perez was elected, but Keith Ellison, the reform candidate, was shot down, and the ban on corporate money was shot down. So I don't know who thinks that corporate money is a good thing to be running our government or running our political parties. I think that's something we can all agree on. And I think all of us need to be in a coalition for real democracy and real justice, whatever your party label is. So Monica Olson says, what is your favorite song to dance to? I know random but important information. Let's see. Favorite all time, I love Public Enemy. So let me just throw that one out there for the moment. I'm sure there's a whole bunch more I could throw out for you. I'll try to have that list next time. Carol Berman says, keep getting the facts out there to the people, Jill. Green Party. There aren't enough in the U.S. who are educated and aware as to what's actually happening to our rights and our lifestyles right now under our very own feet as we try to stand up right now. And yes, we must stand up, and we must stand up now. So I must also wrap because we have an event going on in the next hour at San Diego. And I'm not sure if it's actually on campus or not, so I'm going to let Mel answer that for us in her posting. And I just want to say again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for leading the charge for an America and a world that works for all of us. Remember, forget the lesser evil, fight for the greater good like our lives depend on it, because they do. We do have the power to create that world that we deserve. That power is not just in our hopes, it's not just in our dreams, it's in our hands. Let's use it. Thank you all so much. Peace out. Good night.